I did want to talk to you about setting goals for the year, and asking you the question right now is, what are you doing for 2020? Where do you want to be at the end of 2020? Where do you want your agency to be at the end of 2020? If you're a producer, what are your sales goals for the end of the year? And even CSRs, you know, what are your sales goals for the end of the year? That's what I always say. Let's go ahead and start backwards. If you're setting goals right now somewhere else, maybe it's time to set those goals right here in Epic, and let's start tracking every single opportunity. What is an opportunity, right? Every opportunity that comes into your office, whether it's a lifestyle or a home or an auto or an umbrella or commercial lines, every single phone call, every single walk-in is an opportunity. Currently, how are you tracking every opportunity? What are you able to see throughout the agency? If you're a manager of the agency or owner of the agency, how are you able to identify all the opportunities that are in the office? How many of those are you closing? How many of those are you losing? If you are losing them, why are you losing them? So these are things that I'm gonna kind of show you today in talking about the dashboard and tracking sales and opportunities. So starting with the sale, let's break it down backwards, right? Let's go month by month, and then week by week, and then by each person, each producer, each CSR, or the affiliate. So like, for example, if you're looking to have $500,000 revenue or $500,000 in premium, and we'll just say the average revenue is 10%. I know it's higher than that, but say you want at least $50,000 in income in revenue to come in for the year by the end of December 2020, right? Then let's go back, break it down by month. How much would you need to sell every month? $41,666. How much per week? And then it breaks down to how much per day. So this is how you're going to be able to track, you know, what are you closing on every day, every week, right? The next step is, once you have this in place and you've thought this through, and again, break it down by lines of business if you want. What do you want to do in commercial? What do you want to do in personal lines? What do you want to do in life? And I just believe that if you put it down, a goal down, you actually have something to reach for, right? You're actually gauging where you want to be. And when you sign into Epic and you use the dashboard, you're going to be able to see where you're at every single day, right from your home screen, all right? The second thing I would say before we get into showing you, I want to make sure that you're then having at least weekly meetings with staff, with each other, with the affiliate, with the producer, whoever you're working with. Schedule weekly meetings to just view your new business opportunities, no matter what they are. And this way you can view what stage they're in, you can view if you're winning them, if you're losing them, and everybody's kind of has their own ownership that way as to what you're working on, and that there is a close, there's an end here, right? What we find, if folks aren't tracking opportunities, they might be missing out on a lot of opportunities. So in other words, you might send a quote off to somebody, and because you didn't have any follow-up after you sent it, you might have had an opportunity. Or did you ever call somebody back in a couple weeks later and say, oh, you know, we sent you that quote a couple weeks ago, and oh yeah, I've been meaning to call you, right? Things like that happen. So this is kind of a good way to track those opportunities all the way to the end. Whether you win it, whether you lose it, one way or another, you're tracking every single opportunity within the agency. With that being said, you're going to get some good report information, right? So I'm going to start out backwards, and then we'll go through the steps of how to get here. So again, here's my goal, right, for the year, whether it be premium or revenue, okay? So the manager will be able to see the team view. The particular producer will only see their goals, and if you're a CSR and you get a goal, you can even put your own goal in. You can talk to me, we can get your own goal in there for you if you have your own goal. But the manager itself would be able to go down and view the whole team and every member of the team on that goal. And we could talk more about that in a minute, but I want to get back to setting goals, I think it's the first place to start. Get the goal in there. Then you'll be able to track your wins and losses. So as you win an opportunity, your gauge will move up and your hit ratio will move up. If you lose an opportunity, you're going to see the loss here as well. So let's talk about how we make those goals. How do we make that meter move, right? In this funnel here is my new business pipeline, which is every opportunity that I'm working on and what stage they're in. So you can see there's interest, discover, and market. And I'll talk a little bit more about stages when we add the opportunity. And I show you that, but it's just giving me a good overall view. Wow, what kind of premium level do I have sitting on my desk? It's going to give the manager or the owner of the agency a good view of what's on everybody's desk. How much revenue do I have sitting out there in opportunities? And let's have weekly meetings now to see what's going on with these cases. So as for the stages, the typical stage on a sales pipeline is at least 9 stages. And in this case, if they're live suspects or prospects that actually called you and showed an interest, that we broke it down to 3 stages because we know no one wants to touch a prospect more than 3 times, right? So here's the stages we came up with. You can always customize stages. If you want us to create custom stages for you, we can do that as well. But we came up with 3. So for personal lines, it's interest, means they called you or they walked in, they're interested in a quote. Market means I'm actually working on the quote itself. And propose means it's given to the client and it's in the client's hands. So there's the 3 stages for personal lines. Commercial lines, we have discover, still discovering, trying to gather information. There's a lot of back and forth with that, unless you take my class, and there shouldn't be that much. And then market, again, I'm actually physically quoting it or have it out to market. And then propose means it's in the client's hands. So there's just 3 quick stages to let you know where is that opportunity at within this agency, okay? In these funnels, any of these funnels that you click on, if you click, they all drill down to the actual data. So if I click on the funnel, it'll actually show you all of the items that I have in here. And I can go back to December or whatever and show every opportunity that's in this stage, in these stages. All right, so as I win an opportunity, it moves my meter up, and again, it will hit my hit ratio. Let's talk about our hit ratio here too. So you'll see our won and our lost opportunities. So every opportunity, again, is going to stay open there until you do one of 2 things: win it or lose it, right? You're going to win it or lose it, not going to just fall off a cliff there. If you lose it, you'll see that not only can you drill down who you lost, but you can see what's the reason why you lost that case. All right, so it's going to give you good data, as you'll see when I show you reports as the months go in. So how do we create the opportunity? How easy is it to start this? It's super easy. You can literally start with your next prospect starting today. Once we set up your goals, all we have to do is set up a team and goals for you or your agency, and then you can start tracking your opportunities immediately. So let me just show you how quickly we'll go ahead. How many of you, by raising your hand, are adding their prospects in Epic right now? Right? Tracking the prospect is key, right? It literally will take you less than 2 minutes to add your prospect. If you're already adding your prospect, it's just another second, not even a minute, to add an opportunity. And I'm just going to show you here how easy. So we're going to say we have our prospect added, right? Our prospect's already in here. And the next step then is going to be to go to opportunities, and we're simply going to add the opportunity. We're going to list in the description, we're going to just put the types of business that we're quoting. Okay? If you're quoting 3 lines, add all 3 lines. And this is just for you, so you know, what am I quoting on this client, right? What am I quoting? Am I quoting BOP or comp, commercial auto? What type of business am I quoting? If it's a life, put life in there. Keep it, that's an opportunity too, right? Life insurance is an opportunity as well. And then the next key thing is, what's my target close date? So if I have a target close date, we should at least know when do we need to quote this by, right? You want to put that in there as well. And then the key is just to keep the source new business. For all new business, you want to make sure your source is that. And Anissa can set up some of your defaults on the back end for you for that particular piece to happen. Your agency and branch should already be defaulted as well. And so that wouldn't even be a click that you would have to do. What we need to know from you is what is the estimated value of that account? Now, I don't want you to get hung up on the numbers, okay? You don't have to be exact when you're estimating the value. What you want to know is this under 5,000? Is it over 5,000? Is it over 10,000, 20,000? What size account am I working on? Is it about, you know, a $3,500 account? Put 3,500 in there. Okay, so don't get hung up on the numbers. Add those totals combined. If you have their prior insurance, obviously you'll have a better value. But if you don't, give it a good estimate, right? You know about roughly what a 2-car single home type policy is going to run. If it's going to be, oh, this is a $100,000 account. This is what we want to know, and this is what the report is going to tell us. What size accounts are we working on? And again, doesn't have to be exact at this moment. And the same thing with revenue. I don't want anybody to get hung up on the numbers here either. The easiest number to put in there is 10%. So just put 10% in there. So we know, as the agency owner, I know that I have about a $3,500 account that somebody's working on, and my commission is going to be higher than 10%, right? We know it's higher than 10%, but we put 10 just to keep it easier in there. So number of policies, number of risks, we have working there. Now I'm going to put in my team that I am on. What sales team? If you're within an agency that has multiple teams, personal lines, commercial lines, life, you have to just remember to select the right team. But again, if you only have one team for your agency, we can default this too. So it's one less step that you have to do on your side. Now, let's talk about the owner of the opportunity. The owner of the opportunity is who is going to see it on their dashboard. Does that make sense? If I own it, I'm going to see it on my dashboard. If you're going to have somebody else own it and assign it to a staff member or a producer or whatever, then they're going to have to track the stages of the opportunity. So whoever sees it on their dashboard is pretty much the one that's going to track the stages and update it to the win or loss. If that makes sense. Makes sense, everybody? Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to chat those in, and I'll definitely be able to break that down. And Dan, I see the question in here. You don't have to just put new business. You can put anything in here. If you have cross-sold, I just wanted to make sure that if it is a new business, you put that in there. I don't want you to put remarkets here, because remarkets is a whole separate tracking mechanism. We have the reports strictly set up on any source in here that you use besides remarket. So, besides remarket, right? So if you have any new business source that you're using, go right ahead. The report will pull it in. Okay, so great question. Thanks. So I'll get back to Jamie in a minute. All right, so now let's talk about stages. So remember we said we customized the personal lines opportunity stages to be 3. Interest, market, propose. Anybody want to see more stages than that? We can customize the stage details for you. The default group is literally 9 stages. Now this you might use if you have purchased maybe a list of prospects, and Laura can help you import those prospects. And if you have X dates on them, you can come in here and create opportunities for every X date and just call them unqualified suspects, right? They never even called me. They don't even know who I am, but I'm going to market to all these people. And then you can start tracking those stages as well. So that's what the default group would be. The commercial lines group, we broke it down to just 3 stages as well: discover, market, propose. So these are the 3 I'd want to know on a commercial case. On a personal lines case, these are the ones I'd want to know. If I have prospect opportunities, maybe I want to qualify them all the way to the end. And just so you can see, the closer you get to propose, the increase of probability. It keeps increasing, right? And then down to negotiate. So in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and use the personal lines opportunities. In here, we can say, you know, we are competing with State Farm, or, you know, whatever kind of note you want to leave. It's going to be just inter-office notes for yourselves based on those reports. But that's it. These areas is all you'll need to complete. We can even default here, we can default here, we can default here. So basically, this is the only information you have to put in. And once you add that in here, I'm going to go ahead and add it for today. You can just go ahead and say finish. It creates your activity. And this is the activity then I would put all my notes in. As I go back and forth with this client or this prospect, here's where I would leave my notes to myself of what I'm doing and every detail about this particular client. I would leave this open till I won it or lost it. All right, so now let me go back to my dashboard, and that's, it's going to feed into my funnel here. But here's where the list of opportunities, all my open opportunities that I'm working on are right here. Here it is. All right, so I have a list of, here's all the opportunities I'm working on that are due within the next 60 days. I can add additional columns here so you can see what you want to see. Obviously, I take off the stage premium and put in the actual premium and revenue because it tells me more of what I want to know. What sales team, who's the owner on it, and these are just things that I'd like to see. So see this little blue area here? If I need to go back into that particular opportunity, I would click here. It would take me back in here and I can edit notes and add some comments on that. If I want to just change the stage from interest to market, I simply just right click and now I'm quoting it. It automatically pulls in the next stage and again increases my probability of closing this case because every stage increases it, and say finish. That's how easy it is to update the stage. Every time you update the stage, it does create an activity, but they're set to close, so you're good there. Now I want to win or lose this case. If I'm going to win this case, I'm simply going to close it. I'm going to show you a loss first. Okay, if I lost a case, the whole purpose is to indicate what reason did you lose it. And we can even add additional reasons in here if you don't like the ones we have in there that are pretty much standard. But if there's additional ones, you can do that. And then you would set a date and follow up. An activity will be created, and that's where you'll create the follow-up activity to re-quote it next year. Lost it due to price, whatever, you leave a note, and then you would re-quote that for next year. A win, simply you just indicate what date did you close it, what were the actual premiums combined. So now is where you want to update those numbers. If you sold an auto, home, and umbrella, and you sold it for $4,000 or whatever, again, we're going to keep the revenue at 10%, but put the actual 3 policies combined as to what you did sell. Say finish, and that's going to update your sales dashboard. In the activity, you would say 1. Again, if this was a loss activity, you would say, it says right here, indicate 1 or loss. If lost, set a follow-up to requote. So we're even telling you what to do with this activity if you lost a case. If it's a win, you just hit win and then you close it, right? If it's a lost, you would indicate lost, set a follow-up for next year, and then write your note in here, lost last year because whatever reason, need to requote, try this. Okay, so you can try it again next year. So those are the 2, that's the built-in workflow that maybe you don't have right now where you're automating the actual workflow to requote this. As I win that case, I went ahead and won it because I wanted to see my meter. It just moved up a little bit because I got a pretty big goal here, right? But you'll see revenue went up, premium went up, and again, I can click on this again, and you'll see my red bud case that I just won for $4,000. So all my cases that are in here are within that dashboard. Now, before you go, I want to show you, this is the most exciting piece. So remember I said, let's have weekly meetings. Have weekly meetings with your staff, with your owner of your agencies, if you're with your producers. Every week, every single person that has a sales goal should be getting their own open pipeline report. As an agency owner, I'm going to get everybody's pipeline. I'm going to be able to see who's working on what stage are they in, how many opportunities do they have, and any comments that are on those open pipeline, open opportunities. Now, every person or every member of that team should get their own pipeline new business report. In this way, they can check it every week. Oh, yep, I got these. I sold that one. Let me go back and update my pipeline into a win or a lose. And then at the end, you'll be able to see, okay, I got 7 opportunities here, a total of $55,000 in premium, $11,000 in revenue. So you're going to get a good weekly report showing you what kind of opportunities do you have, what's everybody doing with them, right? What stage are they in, and what kind of volume do we have? We like that? Any questions on that? Like it? Hands, let me see some hands if you guys like this report. All right, just so I know you're with me still. All right, so that's great. Now, on the end of the month, you're gonna get your new business sales report. Remember, we set a goal for everybody. Everybody set their own goal, or you set the goal for the agency and where you wanna be. So not only are you gonna see all the won cases and who they are and the detail of it, but at the end, you're gonna be able to see every single person within that team, what they wrote that month, what their target is, what they got left to go for that year. How cool is that? We like that? Good report? Hands, let me see some hands if you like that sales report. This is fantastic information. This really gives you some good detail. It gives you a good eye on what is going on in my agency. Where am I at? Again, if I ask any of you right now, where are you this month with new business, right? You're getting your new business report, which is great, but how does it coincide with your sales, right? Your goals for that month or for that week or for that producer or for that CSR or for yourself, right? And then the last one is, these would be automated too. So we can automate these pipeline reports, sales reports, and hit ratio reports. So you don't even have to think about them, all right? So this is your hit ratio report telling you what you won, what everybody won, what they lost. And if they lost, again, you're gonna see the unsuccessful reason here. And again, it's gonna give you a good value too. You had 4 wins, 2 losses, and it's gonna give you your hit ratio percentage right now. If I ask any of you right now, do you know your hit ratio percentage? Anybody? No, right? It's hard. It's hard. So why not use the system for what it's designed to use? Why not be able to manage your agency every morning, come in, know exactly where you're at throughout the year, right? Everybody gets kind of complacent. They get all excited in January. Everybody's good, ready to go. Come mid-year, everybody's starting to slow down a little bit. So this is a good goal for everybody, just to keep a boost too, right? To keep everybody informed. Just to kind of briefly show you, let me go to my team. Hopefully my team is not going to kick me out. We talked about teams, and you can actually see in the pipeline everybody's goals, and you can see it on a dashboard view too. So this is viewable anytime you want. You can see what everybody's doing, where they're at, where they're at within a certain time frame, based on revenue, based on premium, what have you. So that's the goal for the whole team. So again, only the manager can see that. And then on combined sales, this shows you agencies' premiums that are coming up for renewal. Now, the only kicker with this, which I don't like, and I'll just be very transparent about that, is it only pulls in the PRBR that's on the first line. So if you're on the first line of the PRBR, those renewals will show up. If you have multiple lines and say you're splitting and that producer wants to see only their renewals, they're not going to be able to do that. The agency owner should be able to view all of the combined sales unless you have it in an agency owner name, the first line of the PRBR. And I know some of my older agents have been with us for a while, have that. But I wanted to just share with you, this is a pretty cool tool, and it's just kind of sharing with you what kind of volume do you have coming up within the next 150 days of renewals. So you have your new business versus your renewal versus your expiring. So that's another piece of the dashboard. I'd like to get some feedback on it from you all as well as you start utilizing the dashboard as to what you'd like to see different and if there's any other piece, that you would like to see different. So that's all I really have for all of you today. I want to thank you all for joining. I know Laura mentioned that we're going to be hitting the road. So we got the Dream Team hitting the road show. So I'm excited about coming out to, we're only going to be able to go to a couple of states this year. So we're going to kind of move that around. And then the sales conference, we're going to have more workshop type environment in the sales conference. So I'm really excited about that. We were trying to get it to one, right, on a beach somewhere, but we're working towards it, right? We're getting there. But it's going to be really a great event this year. So we want you to please look for those emails, register for those as well. I'm going to be here for any questions. If anybody has any questions, I do have a tracking sales training that I can actually do with your team. So if you want to register for that, we can send you that link at the end of today's session, and you can register for a tracking sales training for you, your whole team, and let's get everybody on the same page, up and running at the same time, get all your reports scheduled, and I'll be happy to help you with that.